How about a round of applause for the countdown? Welcome to the Wavell Star Show. I'm your host, the First Nation sensation, Wavell Star, coming to Facebook Live with another edition of Thursday Night Live with Tricksters Comedy. Corey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's happening, brother? It's good to be back on the soul. Every Thursday night, that's how we go, bro. We got the inner
Yes.
soul flow, yo.
That's how we go.
That's
Don't you
right.
know?
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. How's your week been, man? How's your week?
My week has actually been pretty freaking stellar. I'm back on Facebook and reconnecting with some folks that I haven't seen from or heard from in a long time. Had a good chat with another producer this week, actually, on another project that I'm working on, and
Right on.
things looks pretty promising there. I was talking the other day there with that lady, and you know she was like, "Oh, why don't we do this and that?" And I was like, "Well, I kind of don't want to do big gigantic things right now.
Yeah.
I'd rather come out small, do is have a little bit of like I have a strategy in my head. So basically, start out small, and then work my way up, reintroduce myself to the
Yeah.
film community, and introduce myself to all the new people. There's so many new filmmakers out there,
Hey,
and
speaking of introductions, let's
do we
take a
got
moment
them?
right now. Oh, we got him.
Do we got them?
Let's bring him in. Ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen, the one, the only, Keon Francis. What's up, man? How
Hey
goes it?
everyone, sorry, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties, so we got Wavell and Corey here who are techno gurus here, but I'm just struggling, so I had to do the old restart. So, but
You
things
had to
been
pull
working.
up
I
Brody and his
kept
bush
like
skills.
not carrying a proper curl here, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah,
So there we go.
yeah. It
A
looks a
little
little
bit
off
better. I'm always
balance.
a little lopsided anyway.
It's just the shape
It's
of
a
your
little
It's
off
head.
always
centered.
been that way. There's been a little bit like this all the time. And my dad used to bug me all the time. Sort your hat out. Sort your hat out. I'm like, well, it does feel sorted out until I see
Sort it
myself.
I can't. It's just the shape of my head, Dad.
Totally.
But I
You got
apologize
the
for being
pumpkin
late.
head.
It was 100% my fault. And it was not because of I didn't want to be here. It was because I was kept knocking and texting you guys saying, hey, I can't get on. So it's all good now. So a system reboot and seems to be good now. So
Yeah. See, isn't
okay.
that funny? Either it's one of two things. You either have to smudge it, or if that doesn't work, you just restart it, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything works. Isn't that funny how that is?
So it's a
There you
Windows,
go.
so I
There
think he
you
had to
go.
do it. So I think he had to do both of those things.
I got to get some more sage actually for that. So that's a good reminder. Well, thanks.
Yeah. Before we
But
get
I
into stuff, have you guys been keeping up with what's going on? Oh, sorry, sorry. I just want to bring this up real quick before we get into Tricksters comedy stuff.
Yeah, man.
Have you guys been
Yeah.
keeping up with the latest on social media?
what
There's a lot of things going on social
Yeah, yeah.
media.
Is
Now
there
that I'm
ever a lot
back
of
on
things?
social
be a
media,
pretty
oh my
big
God.
deal.
Yeah. So let's go around the horn real quick. Top social media
Mm.
story that you saw of the week, Corey.
Top social media story of the week that I seen.
Yeah.
Man, there are some drummers singing and dancing on a table. Can you believe that? At a round dance, they like got up there, like what are you? Like is this like rock star times? You know what I mean? Like, are you trying to be a rock star? Is this what happening here?
Yeah, there was
And
that got a lot, right? That was
oh my god.
all over. Like I'm an old guy, so I do Facebook
Yeah.
for the most part, but it was
Yeah.
all over Facebook, and certainly got at the beginning, kind of a lot of jokes about it, and then
Yeah.
but then as the day went on, then eventually you actually saw some really good posts that were very insightful that found the kind of the teachings within that whole episode, right? So it was your typical drama on Facebook day, but at the end of the day, I think there was definitely some teaching moments there. Do you?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, like from some of the stuff that I was reading, there was of course, there was the jokes and all that kind of stuff. But then there was also, some very insightful, culturally appropriate comments, like just you don't do that, right? So I actually found the full video, right? Because I was reading other things like why didn't anybody stop them and why didn't but if you watch the full video, the I think he must have been the stick man, maybe.
I guess.
Went over there, brought them down, started scolding them, right? And then, stormed off. So he actually did get them off the table, get them down from their shenanigans, and
Right. See, that's the
and
whole thing.
scolded them. Yeah,
Yeah. That's the whole
yeah.
thing with video clips, right? There's no context. You see just that the one part, which is obviously the worst part, and you get that kind of stuff going on. And yeah, that was definitely the drama that I saw. What about you, Keon?
Well, I would say the biggest thing right now that I've seen on social media is the Epstein release of the actual
Mm.
names.
Yeah,
So
saw
that's
that as
probably
well.
going to be huge. But at the same time, I don't like to fuel that kind of stuff. So I'd rather talk about my new soda stream. So
Yeah,
this
well,
is
let's hear about that.
so I always drink like crazy amounts of I drink lots of fluids all the time. So
Me
it's
too.
usually diet cranberry juice. Maybe that's not the best thing. A little bit of
I
cranberry,
love that.
a little bit of splash in soda water, and I love it. And the thing is that I have a crazy amount of recycling. It's kind of this. I'm not
Yeah,
some recycling conspiracy theorist or whatever else. But the thing is, it just costs me money, and that's all I care about, right?
right, right.
So, and my wife goes to me, "Well, just get a soda stream." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like too much work." It's not. I literally just go zap. Oh, it's done. And
So
now I
does
got
it
this
really?
great water bottle for it, and it's got I throw a little bit of cranberry juice in it. It is outstanding.
So what
I
is that? Is that just like soda water? Like
Yeah, it's just soda water, and I add a little bit of cranberry juice to it. And
that's it?
Hold,
I got it.
hold
I got
on.
it on the Boxing Day sale
Yeah.
for like $40. I thought it was going to be like hundreds of dollars, and she's looking at me like I'm an idiot. It's like no, it's like $40. It's like oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, let's do it. So it finally came in yesterday, and I'm just loving this thing. I keep filling it with water, get it all sodaized, and add my cranberry juice and because cranberry juice is good for the liver and kidneys, everything else,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
I,
for sure.
I try to drink a lot, right? And
Yeah,
I
Bro,
like to drink a lot of fluids, just
yeah,
because it's
bro,
a great thing to
I'm
do,
with
right?
you.
So,
bro,
I'm 75 years old. Hey,
Yeah.
bro,
Was that
bro,
15, 20 years ago? No, just kidding.
bro,
I'm 50 myself.
bro. I have to ask, and I know all of our viewers are wondering the same thing. um, at the beginning of that, you said recycling conspiracy theorist. What?
oh yeah,
I was like,
you can't
wait a
buy.
minute, what?
Okay, okay,
I know
okay.
what you mean. I know what you mean.
Let me
I
put
know. I'm
this
just.
into perspective. Anything that comes from the earth has been from the earth and is going to end up in the earth. How can you can reuse something,
I know. I'm just bugging
but you
you.
can't recycle something.
I'm just bugging you. I've
It's always
never
been here.
heard that.
Unless there's a meteor that comes down here, smashes down, gives us some iron to make some super swords that we can wield and go all Power Ranger with. But everything that's here is here. It's not going anywhere. It's been here. It will always be here.
Okay, so I get what you mean
bro, bro,
about the conspiracy theorists. Yes, I
bro. I'm
definitely
just,
get it.
yeah, I'm just bugging you. It did just stumped me for a second. I was like, wait, what?
And that's why we're here, man. Let's question each other. Let's have fun with
Yeah,
it and
so so
question each
so
other.
an awesome.
You
Okay, so
know what they
an awesome
do
gadget.
with bottles? Do you know?
What's that?
There's a whole theory behind this. It's on the dark web about what they do with bottles.
I don't
Let me
know. I've never
tell
been
you.
on the dark web. Fuck. Who
Neither
goes
have I.
there? That's a real thing. I thought they just talk about that on
No,
YouTube.
man, the dark web's a real thing. And
How do you
actually,
get access to it? I
today,
don't it
why?
doesn't say
I have
dark
no
web.
idea. I have
Yeah,
no idea.
I'm not
But
dark enough.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You
only
gotta be
brown.
real dark.
Always
I
discriminated
I
against.
just barely make it in, bro. Barely.
So you're obviously very pleased with that purchase. So that moves on to the next question. Your favorite either gift or thing that you won, and I'll start with mine. It'll be
Mm,
an air fryer. I won an air fryer at my auntie and uncle's anniversary,
Oh,
and it
cool.
is so practical, man. It's awesome. You can put
I can't believe
everything
you
in
never
there.
had one before, Wavell.
Yeah, me neither. Now that I started using it, the
Oh
the
yeah.
only issue with it is they're pretty small, right? Like so I'm gonna look
Yeah,
into buying one of those bigger
you can
ones.
get big ones too.
Yeah.
The Ninja griller is another thing that's awesome.
A griller.
Yeah, so you can make a steak in 10 minutes, and
What?
you
Like
get those big
indoors?
old Costco 1.5 inch thick steaks done in 10 minutes,
Who
and then
can
it's done
afford
in
those
the air,
nowadays?
perfect, guaranteed.
Yeah, I gotta try that. I gotta try. But you know what? Yeah, definitely haven't been eating as much steak in the past. Like, over like 5 years, I would say. Like I still eat it, but like
Yeah, it
not like
looks
I
like
used to
it.
eat
By
it.
the way, you're kind of like,
I used to eat it all the time. I'm 50
I'm
years
just
old,
bugging you.
man. I'm doing my best. I used to eat it all the time until it got so expensive. Like, do
Oh,
you
I
remember
know.
when you used to get like a big ass thing of steaks for like $25, right?
Well, you go to
Oh yeah.
Costco, you could get 5 ribeye steaks a year and a half ago for $38.
Oh yeah.
Now you get two.
Now, oh
Wow.
dude, only like a couple years ago, like maybe about a year ago, even. When the hell did my Costco membership lapse? Like a year and a half ago, something like that. Anyways, back then I could go into Costco, right? And I can get, those pork tenderloins, those big full ones
Yeah,
that you cut up
big
and then
one.
you make little pork chops with that, right? I used to be able to get that thing for like $40, something like that, $30. And if they're on sale, even cheaper, right? Now, dude, they're so expensive now. It's almost double the price. It's like, what
Yeah.
is going on here?
Yeah,
Oh, it's
No.
crazy. It's crazy. Crazy.
for
And you
sure.
know
Yeah.
what? Like I do all right. I can't imagine like if and even
Yeah,
I'm like saying like I holy smokes, how like it's only me and my wife now. Like all our kids are grown and stuff like that. Like how does it a husband and wife with 3 kids that are teenagers? Man, teenagers eat a lot of meat and a lot
yeah,
of food. Like
yeah, for
holy
sure.
smokers. Like
Yeah,
this
my
is
Mhm.
grocery bill is pretty high as well.
yeah, tough times.
Yeah,
Mine's
man.
not too bad.
Yours isn't too bad. Out in the
No.
fort, you guys must have better prices or something. Maybe you're.
Well, no, here's the thing that I'm really
Can you
horrible
use
for.
bank cards and debit cards in Fort Capel?
Yeah, we finally got that technology. Before you used to be able to write checks and trade,
Lump them.
just trade. Just got to make sure you got enough glass beads with you,
Yeah,
enough pelts.
pelts. Yeah, pelts.
I killed 16 res dogs out on a buff. What can I get for that?
I'll give you one squirrel.
I'll give you half a turkey.
Well, speaking of that, when everything was going on during COVID, like I was like where I live in Regina, there's a lot of rabbits around and a lot of squirrels and everything else. And I'm like, all right, shit might hit the fan. I got myself a kick-ass air rifle for that reason. Because I could like just shoot rabbits in my fucking courtyard behind my place. I'm like, I think I'll be all right. I just got to get a air rifle, and no one's gonna hear that shit.
Wapus. Wapus.
Just some, just some
Put some
Last of
butter
Us
in there.
vibes.
Oh, that's good stuff. Some rubaboo soup.
Oh, that's a Métis thing. Oh,
Wascally wabbits.
that's deep Métis rubaboo.
But you know what? The best rabbit I had was actually in Ottawa. This was probably about Coon's age ago. And I was there for work, and we're at I forget the name of the reserve there, and but it was in Ottawa, kind of offshoot of Ottawa, and someone will know. And it was beautiful resort hotel, this and that. They had a big log home or longhouse is called, and it was awesome, right? And for one of the meals we had at this conference was rabbit, and they had the rabbit legs, and they're just doused in butter. Oh my goodness! I kept going back. I must have had like 8 rabbits. I just like it was dripping down my mouth. I just kept getting more rabbit, and people are like, "Oh, you must be Métis," and I'm like, "I am."
Jigging while you're eating.
I just kept going and going on the rabbit. And
Yeah. So
even when I was a kid, and I'll just say this one point here, Corey,
yeah,
hate to
yeah.
interrupt, but my right outside Regina, my grandparents used to live there, and so my uncles would set up snares and this and that for rabbits and everything else, and that was back in the day. Remember when you get those little Lucky Rabbit's feet
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
keychain
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
little brass thing on the end and the
Yeah.
little attachment to put your keys on and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I want a Lucky Rabbit's foot. So my uncles are like, okay, they're just chopping off legs of fucking. So they gave me like 8 of them,
Here.
right? So I was like, oh, I'm so lucky. This is gonna be awesome, right? And I put them in my sock drawer, and I was probably only 8 years old. And I put them in my sock drawer, and my mom's doing my laundry, of course, right? And she finds all these like decapitated rabbit legs.
Oh no. What's the matter with my son?
I'm like, those are my Lucky Rabbit feet.
Do you know how much groceries I could buy in Fort Capel with that?
Crying and shit, right? Sorry. Anyway, go ahead, Corey.
Oh, bro, you could buy a lot of food in Fort Capel with that, even this day and age.
Yeah. The co-op. Never mind. Fort
Yeah,
Capel
so
Co-op.
just reading some of the comments there, and Janine said, "Try being from the north. We were, I imagine you meant weren't, allowed to leave the towns during COVID." Yeah, I remember that because during COVID we had to wait for a little bit, and I will say that I actually snuck up north that way. I
You
actually
snuck
snuck
up
up
north?
north. Yeah, and
You say
I
that on
went.
a public, my
I
friend.
How'd you get there?
Well,
You
now you could say it. See, now you could
cross
say it.
country skiing or you?
No, I drove, and you want to know the funny thing is that there was a whole pile of us too. At that time, we went up north, we snuck up north, and then we had folks coming in, and like we literally there was more than a large group of us, but none of us had COVID. You know what I mean? We actually gathered. Nobody bothered us except some person that was walking by where we were and asked us for a smoke. You know what I mean? Other than that, nobody bothered us at all.
Right.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
though if you'd have tried to tell
Oh,
this story like 3 years ago.
oh, dude, I'd have the Gestapo at my.
Shame, shame, shame.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
I'd have the COVID Gestapo at my house, man. But I will say though that you know, I was actually very safe during COVID. I was ultra safe during COVID, and I went all whole COVID right up until March of 2023 when I finally got COVID. But like I was doing everything that you're supposed to do, mask up. Well, of course, except sneaking up north, the
You were
group of
doing
like
all the
16 of us.
things.
Yeah, I was doing all the things, man. I was washing stuff. I was pre-ordering groceries online, which I only discovered later in COVID, and I was masking up, and sometimes I actually still mask up. But we had this conversation
Yeah.
during COVID, and like, do you remember flying before COVID? Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
fuck yeah.
especially if you're flying
I mean, oh,
internationally, right?
yeah.
Yeah, like especially if you're flying internationally,
Yeah.
you always seen. And I'm not being racist here. This is an observance. This is something that I've observed. You always see Asian people wearing masks, right? And I used to think, oh yeah, it's probably really and probably part of it is why it's because where they're coming from is really polluted, right? Like the air quality is really horrible and that type of thing.
And
But they
densely
also
populated too.
and densely populated, and colds and flus and whatnot go around. So that's one preventative measure that they take, right? So, you know, it, oh, I'm not trying to sound racist or nothing. It did seem like I understood better why, because I'd only ever see Asians wear masks at the
Mhm.
airports, and not all of them, but
Yeah.
a good chunk of them, right?
But
And
a big
it
part of
finally
it,
made sense that okay, and then like a couple months later, everybody's wearing masks. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they did it, and they still do it as a preventative measure if they feel
Oh yeah,
sick, if they
yeah,
don't want to, And one thing, I went to Shanghai in what 2004, 2005, 2006, something like that. And when I went there was a lot of people wearing masks, like just
yeah.
wearing masks, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like, okay, I just thought it's a cultural thing, whatever else. And then day 3, I'm at my hotel, and we have our interpreter, and we're going for meetings and this and that, and I go like, oh, like hopefully it clears up, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And like, well, so the sun comes out and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I said, I'd like to see like more of the city and this and that from a distance, and they're like, oh no, this is just normal. And I'm like, I can't see across the street. So
Wow.
from my hotel in Shanghai, across the street was a factory. I had no idea there was a factory across the street from my hotel. And
Couldn't
this
see it.
wasn't
Wow.
a dumpy hotel. Like we're kind of like we're not staying at the Fairmonts in Banff or something like that. We're staying at mid range, like a Holiday Inn, for example, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically where we stayed at, and just like we're still downtown, essentially Shanghai,
Yeah.
and I could not see the factory across the street.
Wow.
Wow.
For them, it was a big part of
Wow.
protecting themselves, but
Yeah.
also it just became customary that if you have a cold or something like that, you cover yourself up, right?
Yeah.
So when like that's like with what you said, Corey, I don't think that's racist at all. It's just a matter of like that's a preventative measure that they do, then they become accustomed to. That's the same thing with us, you know, late at night wear a condom, right? It's preventative.
Yeah. Yeah. Your wife is like,
I'm just
honey,
saying,
why are you
like,
doing that? Well, I don't know. Just
His wife is like, when do you do that?
I mean, no. I'm talking about them.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
single
Sorry.
guy over here. Just
My
yeah,
fault.
fucking. I put one in every night because you never know, right? You never know.
Just in case.
We used to actually have
You might have a chemooch come over
Oh,
and slip and
man.
fall right on top, and
we
Hey,
had a
Hey,
bionic
it's happened. It's happened.
bannock boy that was the first time, and I'm not going to say who it was because there's been a lot of us, but he would say he takes preventative antibiotics if he's unsure.
Oh my
So,
god.
so he
I think I know who
he
you're
just keeps
talking about.
he just keeps antibiotics like on
he just
hand,
keeps them
just
handy
in case.
just in case.
Wow,
Preventative
this guy is
antibiotics.
We used to
And I'm
give that
like,
out
what?
at shows.
And he goes, well, sometimes you're just not sure. I'm like, well, just don't do it then.
It's like, bro, that
Oh,
ain't
boy.
gonna help.
Yeah, might be a little late.
That's only the start of the problems, right? So,
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna transition. We're gonna transition here
All right.
because Corey,
Do this.
we know that you guys have a big announcement to make and some material to discuss, and there's a reveal to be done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna allow you the stage, and you can go ahead and promote starting now.
Hey, how about that Wavell guy? Fuck's sakes. Hey, he's just
just
try,
disappeared.
tries to act too jazzy,
He
He,
played screen games with us.
I know, and he won't even like pack a condom with him for preventative measures, No, we we have a really big announcement to make with Tricksters Comedy. Tricksters Comedy is the I guess you can say the inheritor of the Bionic Bannock Boys. Keon being one of the OGs of Bionic Bannock Boys, and with Tricksters Comedy, we want to bring back a trio, and part of bringing back that trio is unveiling tonight. I promised you guys last week. I've been talking about it for quite some time now, and I promised y'all last week that we're going to unveil the third member, right, Keon?
Absolutely.
See,
No matter, brother.
he only ever says one word. Now, what we're gonna do. And that's our third member right there. Behind the light, in the light, is the light, the guiding light.
That's it. That's it.
The third trickster to complete our trio is none other than the Wavell Stars Show. Everybody give a round of applause. Yeah.
Yay! The native sensation.
All right.
And I'll add that he went through months and months of vetting, as well as training to become one of the tricksters. So he's now able to do 10 push-ups in a row. He started off with 3,
Yeah, I
but
showed him how to do a push-up. He
and
didn't
training
know.
him every other day at 6 a.m. And so now Wavell is now up to 10 push-ups. So
in a row.
well done, bro.
Now, if I could
Good,
only
so
like
that's 3.
walk. Hey, look who's here.
No, I was thinking that'd
Holy
be
flippers.
awesome. That would be awesome because, me and Keon, we've been doing this comedy thing for such a long, tap way long time, that we need another veteran, someone who's been in the show business, someone that knows the ropes, literally and figuratively. Someone that knows how to turn it on, when to turn it on, how to turn it off, when to turn it off, knows the business behind show business. You know what I mean? And who better than Wavell Stars, someone that we've worked with in the past, someone we've done stuff with in the past. You know what I mean? And like Wavell's been a showman for oh gosh, 40, 50 years now,
Decades.
eh?
Yeah, just about.
We're
Yeah,
also,
I believe
uh,
the word we're looking
we've
for is
got
carny. I'm an experienced carny. I'm a veteran carny, and I belong in this carny group with you
the best
carnies. We're
entertainers
doing
in
carny
America.
things.
Exactly. That
You know
about
what?
sums us up.
You know what? I like that. We got to go. We got to push the carny part of it all because that's really what we are. And when we first had Wavell on season 1 of Bionic Bandit Boys, we all just felt it. It was awesome. We did the wrestling stuff and this and that. And you know what? 100%. That's what Wavell is, and that's what he does. He rocks the crowds. He gets the crowd interaction. He's been the bad guy, good guy, you name it. And there's nothing more. And I
The
can't
tug
wait to
eye.
learn from you, Wavell, and how to
Good on,
perform
good on,
and how
good
to
on.
be better in front of a crowd as well. Because you know what? We're all learning, we're all having fun, and there's always room for improvement and continuous improvement. Just have fun and make people laugh. So I'm so pumped that you're a part of the group now, Abel, and this is going to be outstanding.
Yes, for
Outstanding.
sure. Absolutely. It was just like the first time I came on their Bionic Manic Boys. I knew that it was something that I was really attached to. I was really engaging. I love doing it. So I was absolutely happy to get the invite and totally excited to move forward with this new project. And from today forward, we'll rebrand Thursday Night Live as a Tricksters Comedy show. I'll still continue to have some Wavell Star Show features that I'll do on my own, but the Thursday Night Live will be a Tricksters Comedy stream specifically, and we'll also be streaming it in a couple other places. Which places are those, Corey?
Those are streaming right now as we speak on my Facebook profile, Corey General. You can add me up there. It's also streaming on Tricksters Comedy on YouTube. So if you want to catch all of our content and you want to catch content that you ain't going to find on the other 3 sacred social medias, you can go to our Tricksters Comedy on YouTube channel. That's where we're going to be streaming this. That's where it's going to live. That's where all that's going to be. Hey, there's a brother Aaron, Mona
Excellent.
Trottier. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so if you want to check it out, go and check those out. Like those pages. Look for us on TikTok, Tricksters Comedy. We got a lot of stuff up there. Instagram, we got photos and all kinds of things happening over there as well. Of course, our Facebook, we ain't forgetting about you. You're our fams, you're our peoples. You're going to find it there, all at Tricksters Comedy. That's where you can find all that stuff. And we also have a website, tricksters.ca. That name, tricksters.ca. I was offered $5,000 one time for that name, and I
Serious?
said no. Yeah, oh yeah, seriously.
So you've been holding on to it all this time.
Actually, I wanted to start a comedy festival way, way, way back.
Long
I
time ago.
asked in the day. So, like buying web names back then wasn't really a thing where people would purchase, like nowadays they purchase like 1,500 web names and like scabs, right? I forget what they're called, but they sell them back for people who are wanting them at just atrocious prices, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
with Tricksters Comedy or tricksters.ca, when I purchased that, and I also purchased a couple of other web names that I'm holding on to. But when I got Tricksters, it was because I wanted to start a comedy festival. And here's the thing: so an indigenous comedy festival, maybe that's something we could still look at. And all these years later, I finally get to use tricksters.ca. And I'm actually way more excited for this particular project because it goes to the Tricksters brand and it goes to the Tricksters um, uh, goals and all that kind of stuff, right? So it just fits in just perfectly. I love that
Well,
name,
you originally
That's
tricksters.ca.
looked
awesome.
at that when the Winnipeg Comedy Festival was kicking off, when it
Yeah,
really gained that momentum, and we were looking at it, it's like, hey, we can do this in Regina. Like this was something pretty awesome that you were
Cool.
heading up there, but it just didn't. It was just
yeah, because at that time
one
we
space.
we were doing work with a couple comedians out of there. There was Jerry the Bear Garrett, I think his name was.
Yeah.
There was Ryan McMahon. Uh, oof, there was
Oh,
someone
that
else
girl.
there.
What's her name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
what the heck? Anyways, we're
I was
working
gonna
with
tell
them.
you, she was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's gonna bug the hell out of me. And they were being featured at the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, and I was thinking one day, I was like, why don't we have an Indigenous comedy festival? That's never been a thing. Like, there's and we can totally have this. And remember at that time, this is where the logo comes in. This logo has been on my mind for like a decade, bro, more than a decade. Because at that time, remember I was saying we need to get just like a silly coyote because the coyote, represents that
Trickster.
trickster, right?
Yeah.
And we need to get a silly coyote, like a cartoon coyote, that is going to be the logo. So this logo, that web name, Tricksters Comedy, it's kind of sort of been in the back of my mind and in the back of our minds and the stuff that we've been working towards for the past little while. And
Awesome.
it's finally here, and I know
There it
we got a
is.
great group. We got a real great group right now.
Right on. Final comments from you, Keon.
No, I'm just happy to have you on, and really looking forward to what we're going to be doing moving forward, and excited for it. And feedback from the general public is outstanding. You know what? None of us are perfect. We're we're fallible. We're goofy. We're silly. Don't take us too seriously. We're not here to offend anyone. We're just here to laugh and make fun of things, including
Awesome.
racial stereotypes and even ourselves and whatever's going on. So just
Yeah.
want everyone to have fun, laugh, and you know what? A little bit of an escape from reality. And if we can help in that, that's outstanding. So
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of our time. I want to thank everybody for being with us here this time. We'll see you all the next time. However, in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Thursday Night Live with Tricksters Comedy. Hey, hey. See you next time. Bye bye now.
outstanding. Take care.